What's going on, everyone? This is Matt, Squeaky Clean Air. Today we're going to be adding some multimedia, or not really multimedia, because we have multimedia in the Golf. We're going to be adding some disco lights for the trunk setup. I don't have any LEDs in there. I don't have anything lit up. I kind of want to have a little bit lit up when I go to meets and stuff like that and bring the daily over. So I want to, I want to showcase the hardline setup. So I'm going to guide you guys on how to add nice lights into your existing hardline setup if you want to make it a little bit nicer and you want to add some LEDs into the trunk. So stay tuned. Okay. So here we have a LED strip that I managed to pick up at Princess Auto. This thing was 11 bucks. And what I particularly like about this strip, all the extreme lit stuff. You can find these at a lot of sort of like what's it called? Surplus stores, and Princess Auto has these, is because each one of these LEDs is an SMD LED. So it's extremely super bright because it's not made up with a single sort of LED. It's actually 3 tiny LED chips inside of there, which produces 3 times the brightness. So I was able to score this for $11. This was March 15th today. I bought it March 13th. So this is current March 15, 2022. And I was able to score this at Princess Auto and for 11 bucks. So make sure you grab these. And this is 6.5 feet. So it's a little bit long, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim it. It comes with self-adhesive in the back, and I'm going to attach it to the tank in the back, so that way I get some nice lighting and stuff like that, and I'll be able to put multiple sort of runs, and that way I'll be able to get a nice bright light output, and it'll shine up the hard lines. What else are we going to need? Okay, well, because this is basically a USB connection. So at the end of the strip, LED strip, there's a USB connector. It comes with a remote, and it's powered by a 5-volt USB connector. So you cannot just connect it or connect it directly into your car. So what you guys need to do is you guys need to buy a DC to DC converter. What this is going to do is it's going to convert a 12-volt source, and you can buy these on Amazon. But I paid 12 bucks for this or something like that. And it converts a 5-volt USB, which basically you're able to just plug in this strip directly into this, into a grounded positive source. And you need this converter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a relay, because I like to have everything relayed. And the reason why I want to have a relay and I don't want to connect it directly to a 12-volt source is because I want it to be switched, especially for like a daily. I don't want it to be wired directly into the power source, because I don't want it to drain the battery. Right? So I'm going to have it with a switch source, and that's how I'm going to be running a relay. So the relay is going to get an ACC source, which I'm going to tap into from the air suspension. Then it's going to utilize the positive and the negative, and then it's going to power up this converter, and that converter inadvertently is going to allow me to turn on the LED. So that way I'll be able to sort of have a switched power that's only going to be on when I turn the car on, and the car is either running at an event or the car is on and I'm going to be getting the source. So I don't want it to run directly, and that way be able to deplete my battery. I know the negative thing about this is I have to turn on the car in order to get the power into the relay, but I'd rather have that safety, right? Obviously, if it's wired directly and I can wire this directly into the 12-volt source and a ground, but it will always constantly be on. And with a lot of these converters, you know what I mean? They can turn themselves on prematurely, or the LEDs can start drawing up power, and then that's going to be depleting my battery without even knowing it. And I'm saying I'm going to go to work, I'm going to park the car at work, and I'm going to come outside, especially in the winter conditions, and I'm going to have no power. I'm going to have to boost the battery, right? So better to have it as a relayed source. So that way I don't have to worry about my battery being drained, right? So it's a little level of protection that will only work and get the current necessary when the car is switched on, and then it gets the power into the LED. So, yeah, so we're gonna wire up the relay. If you guys want to know information about how to wire up relays, there's tons of information on the internet. You guys can search, and basically what it boils down to is a relay is essentially a switch, and the switch is turned on when you have current going into it, and then that way you guys are able to distribute the ground and the power, and it will only work when it has a remote trigger source, basically an ACC signal, and that that will trigger the relay, which will close the circuit and then allow you to get the power for any of your any of your devices that you want to power up. So I like using these. There's obviously different types of relays out there on the market. I like to buy higher quality relays. This one actually comes from Princess Auto, and I find that the Princess Auto relays are great because I think they use a 12 gauge wire. A lot of the stuff on the internet that you buy from Amazon is cheap relays, and they use like a 16 gauge wire. Not enough. Obviously, the more gauge of the wire is going into the relay, the better, because then it's able to handle a lot more current through the wire, right? So also pay attention to what kind of relays you guys buy, and do some research on the internet on how to wire up a relay. But without further ado, I'm gonna chop these things up, wire them up, and then I'll be able to connect up to my trunk, and we'll see what kind of result we get. So stay tuned. Okay, so I ended up actually using material tape to sort of make it kind of together, so the wires are not all over the place. I like to kind of bundle stuff together so it's a lot more cleaner. I put 2 spade connectors at the ends. I put one male, one female, just so I know that they're going to be different. Obviously, the female or the male is for the ground, and then the female is for the positive, just so they're different. They're different, right? I know they're the same color, but at least we can make them different by having the different sort of, connector types. So that way I won't be able to mess them up. Then what I did is I also went around and I kind of like bundled up the wires for the relay as well, so it's a little bit cleaner. And I'm going to add the appropriate spade connectors at the ends. Obviously, one for ground, one for power, one for ACC, and other stuff we're gonna have to figure out. But anyways, the strip comes like this. So it comes with the USB connection, and it comes with a controller, remote controller that I think has a battery that you're gonna kind of have to pull out. I believe the battery is already inside there, but usually there's like a little a plastic strip that you gotta remove, I'm hoping. And it comes in a bundle like this, and it's 6.5 feet. But what you could do is, once you get to the right size, you can actually cut it. Usually cut it with these connections, and then that will have no effect on the actual rest of the strip. So you can cut it to size. I got to figure out how I'm going to lay it out on the back of the tank behind my seat, and then once I do, I'm going to cut it. And then the adhesives over here. I haven't had good luck with a lot of these strips. Their adhesives usually don't last very long, but what I'm going to do is, once it kind of falls off, I'm going to just use double-sided tape eventually. But we're going to see how long this one lasts, and I'll update you guys. But that's the idea. Like, this will plug into the converter, which is over here, right? And the converter will plug into the relay, and then the relay will plug into my existing power supply in the trunk. It's a little bit convoluted, but at the end of the day, we'll be able to tuck out the wires and kind of bundle them together and make it look a little bit cleaner. I'm just interested in getting some disco lights in the trunk. Stay tuned for more. Okay, so obviously, whenever you guys are using the strips, it's not going to be as clean. And I apologize, this to me is as messy as it's messy. It's not going to be as clean, obviously, as is using the pod lights. The pod lights or the rock lights that I use on a lot of my setups, I prefer to use those. But I couldn't pass up a deal for 12 bucks, And this is what I mean by the high-end SMD LEDs. If you guys look at them, I don't know if I can zoom into it, but see it? It's like a triple LED. It's not just a single sort of a point LED, like the yellow ones and stuff like that. So these are a lot brighter, and I kind of like that. But anyways, I couldn't pass it up. I know it's a little bit messy, but I went around. And this is a 6.5 foot strip, obviously, so I got a lot of overhead. But I went around. I don't expect this sticky to last for a long time, but if it does, as I said, I'm just going to basically replace it with double-sided tape. I mean, it is sticking to like a surface like aluminum, so it is kind of catchy. So maybe it'll stick for a while. We'll check the quality of the adhesive. Again, I don't have great expectations for this adhesive, because a lot of the times when I use these LED strips, like behind my TV and stuff like that, the adhesive didn't last for more than a year. But we'll see. We'll see how it works out. This should give me plenty of LED, basically basically just to give like a mood in the back and a nice reflection to light it all up. We're going to see in just a second. Again, not very pretty, I apologize, but this is where my source is going to come for the USB. I'm going to connect up all the wiring behind here, kind of go in here, and that way I'll be able to get the sources that I need for the ACC and as well as for the power supply, and then we're going to light it up and we're going to see how it turns out. Stay tuned. All right, so it's kind of like lit up. It's not too bad. I mean, I don't mind that effect, but I think what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to actually get rock lights, because I'm not super happy with this. I mean, it turned out okay. I mean, I'm getting the nice LED sort of a glow, which is kind of cool. It's going to look a lot better obviously at night. So it looks pretty dope. I do have some LED behind, so it does give a little bit of a mood lighting. I was kind of hoping for a little bit more. So what I might end up doing actually on the next vlog or video, I might actually end up picking up a rock light kit. I love using rock lights just because of the fact that you know, they're so powerful, and it's just the best bang for the buck. And what I might actually end up doing is mounting one here facing the actual setup and mounting another one here facing the actual setup. So I'm still going to keep the LEDs as they are in the back, but I think I'm going to add additional sort of 2 rock lights, one here and one there, just to sort of like shine on the whole setup. That way it's going to be a little bit more brighter. I mean, I do like it. I do like that it's got sort of like a mood lighting behind the trunk. So for now it's going to stay. So hopefully you guys enjoy this this vlog, and stay tuned for more.